Wayne LaPierre is famous for the saying that says, the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And every once in a while, we get to see how true that is on video. Hey everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson. Not positive where this one comes from, but it happens very quickly. We're going to see an armed robbery go down, and we're going to see a good guy with a gun stop a bad guy with a gun. And it's going to teach us some important lessons that we need to keep in mind. Here we see an armed robbery beginning. He's pointing something at somebody there that's on the counter, and now he throws a chair at him. Looks like he's moved his force multiplier gun or whatever to his left hand back to his right, and he's trying to threaten this restaurant and all these employees by throwing chairs at them while he's got a gun out and he's got something that's going on here. And as he does now, finally a good guy comes up behind him, pops him once there and a second time, and that fight is over. That second shot was very, very effective, and you see the guy here stays at distance. So let's back up and think about this a little bit. Number one, you see him, he's pointing something at that guy, probably a firearm by what he's doing is what it looks like to me. So this is absolutely a deadly force encounter, an armed robbery with a firearm. Second of all, interesting that he switches it up to be able to throw chairs, but you know, we never expect a armed robber to act in rational ways. They're irrational by definition. And then we see him here still continuing on to threaten and harass employees. And I want to talk about the good guy who's about to come on screen here and think about why would he run into this? Well, it's very simple. Under that stress, do you want to make this shot at about 7 yards, or do you want to drive in there when you've got the bad guy who is not looking at you and get a much closer shot? He wants a close shot. Now he shoots him, and he shoots him in the back, Aspers, and you got to ask the question, is it okay to shoot him in the back? Certainly in this case, I think morally it was justified. That guy's pointing a gun at somebody, threatening their life, and really not a problem. Now the guy turns around, and he shoots him a second time when he turns around and presents an additional threat. He shoots until the threat stops, and I think that's very important. That threat continued, so he shot him a second time. The second that he went down, the shooting stops because the threat is stopped. You notice that the firearm went to our left and the bad guy's right, and he goes over and covers that, but notice that he stays at distance. Also very important, he maintains his distance. He's got a distance force multiplier, and he uses it. Boy, Mr. LaPierre's statement sure rang true in this case, didn't it? What stopped an armed robber with a gun? A good guy with a gun. A couple of important lessons here that we want to think about. Number one, in a stressful situation, you're going to want to try to make that shot as short as you can, and we saw that guy do that here. He closed the distance very quick, but once he put shots on target, we saw him back his distance away, keep himself in a safe place, secure the guy's firearm, and then keep him in a controlled situation, and that was very, very wise. So the big lesson here, number one, carry your firearm on you, because if you don't have it on you, you're not going to be able to stop anything that comes your way in the moment. Only what you have on your person is useful. Number two, make sure you know the use of your firearm at various ranges, and that marksmanship matters. Boy, the first time he got shots on target, that guy wasn't looking at him, but that was a good thing. Number three, is it ever okay to shoot someone in the back? You're darn right it is. If they are effectively harming another, or if they're threatening deadly force on another, you have the right to help them in most jurisdictions under Good Samaritan laws, and you should if you have the ability, because you can cover your ass, and I think it's a moral imperative if you have the ability to help others who are in need as well.